I'm Annie Smith, Chief of Detectives for the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. At the last news conference we had earlier this week, I told you that as soon as I could, I would provide you with an update as to the murder investigation that occurred at the Mojo's restaurant in Avondale earlier this week. If you recall, we arrested Mr. Pickens on Tuesday after he had fled from police and ultimately was shot by police while they were attempting to take him into custody. Herman Pickens is still in our custody and will remain so, as he is charged with attempted murder, robbery, and possession of firearm by a convicted felon for the incident that also occurred that morning at the CVS pharmacy. We are confident that we have the right person in custody at this time for the incident at Mojo's. We're not adding the murder charge at this time to Mr. Pickens for the following reasons. We have a great deal of evidence that still needs to be processed, and we want to make sure that we build the strongest case possible and in coordination with the state attorney's office before we add that charge to him. But I want the residents of Avondale to know that we are very confident that we have the right person in our custody and that he's not going anywhere. Residents of Avondale can rest assured that a dangerous criminal has been taken off of our streets. This person showed no regard for the people that he was robbing. Even after they complied with his demands, he still shot at them. And it was after coordinated efforts and great police work and the resources that we have available here at the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office that we were able to take this dangerous person off the street. Again, I want to let the community know that we're confident that we have the right person in our custody and that Mr. Pickens will remain in our custody with no bond until charges are added at a later date.
Is he still in the hospital, or has he now been transferred to the jail?
I don't know what his status is at this moment.
So can we connect that the Mojo's incident and the CVS incident is the same person at this point?
We're confident that we have the right person in custody and that Mr. Pickens will ultimately be charged at some time when it's appropriate. But right now, he's not being charged, but he is being held with no bond on the other serious charges.
Do you anticipate, or are you looking at anyone else as a co-conspirator in any of these, or do you believe he acted alone in both the CVS and the Mojo's?
We're still looking at all options. As tips come in and all the evidence is reviewed, we haven't ruled out anything at this time.
Any other questions?
Can you talk about any of the evidence or what you're waiting on? Is there a certain piece that you're waiting on?
For the integrity of the case, I can't talk about specific pieces of evidence. Mainly, this conference was really to reassure the people in Avondale, because I know a lot of them were still in fear that there was a dangerous person out there running around, and we want to put their fears at ease that we have taken a dangerous person off the street, and they don't have to worry about that.
Mr. Pickens appears to have been an overachiever this day with these two major crimes. Is there any possibility that he did anything else during this period of time, and are you looking at him for anything beyond these two instances?
We always look at any patterns or trends or anything that we could possibly compare. Our crime analysis unit does an excellent job at looking at anything that might be similar. So yes, we always look at that.
Were you getting a lot of calls? I know you said that you wanted to tell the people of Avondale that you got the right person to make them feel better. Were you getting a lot of calls of concern from that area?
We've heard concerns from the media when you guys put out there that people are concerned and they're worried, and we want to make sure that the message gets back out to them that we're confident that the right person is in custody.
At this point, can you say anything about the gun that was found on Tuesday?
No, again, that's part of the evidence. I'd like to be able to tell you every bit of evidence, so that people will know exactly what we have, but unfortunately, for the integrity of the case, we've got to keep some of that stuff to ourselves at this point. Eventually, we'll be able to let you know a lot more, but mainly I just wanted to let the residents know that we have the right person in custody.
Can we talk at all about what makes, I know you can't talk about specific evidence, but can we talk at all about what makes this case so complicated or so complex to investigate?
It's not, I don't think it's any more complex than other murder investigations. Every murder investigation is very complex. We want to seek justice for Mr. Sutton and his family. So we want to make sure that we have the most rock-solid case that we possibly can. So we don't want to, prematurely charge somebody or do anything that could potentially jeopardize the case. So that's why we take our time, methodically go over everything, and since there's no rush, because he's already in our custody with no bond, but those other serious charges, we have the time now to go very methodically, step by step, and make sure we cover everything before we get to that point.
Any other questions?
Again, what are the charges he's facing? Attempted murder, robbery?
And possession of firearm by a convicted felon. Okay. And those are charges that stem from the CVS robbery that occurred the same morning.
Okay.
Any idea when you will file possibly murder charges? Any time frame?
I don't know at this time. And, you know, if we get to that point, we'll charge him as soon as it's appropriate.
Okay, thanks, Chief.